I'm Jess Dakotas.
And I'm Nick Koziel. Welcome to That Sounds Terrifying, the podcast where we share terrifying stories, we share listener experiences, and we visit virtually some of the most haunted places in the United States and the world.
Hello and welcome back to That Sounds Terrifying. We're excited to have you here. And today we have a very special episode.
Yeah, it's kind of a redo. I'm excited to kind of reshare some of the things that we did. Because Jess and I decided to do something kind of different and record on scene, on site, which is something that I've done before for other podcasts, and actually we've done together before. And strangely enough, we had some issues with the recording, specifically the video, but even aspects of the audio as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Jess, why don't you share a little bit about your feelings on the location? Because I mean, I'll just say that we had a really a great friend in Ben Albert who offered up his recording space, and we were going to do, the episode there. And you went
We did
in.
the whole episode.
We did the whole episode there. It's just we don't really have
Yeah.
we have partial proof of it, right? But
Yeah.
anyways, like as soon as we came into the space, I know that you had some feelings about it. So share away.
Yeah. Yeah, which is funny because I feel like I already shared this, and I did, but we're
Yeah.
not gonna we can't use it. So yeah, thank you to Ben because he's super like just awesome guy and like gave us that space to record, super nice. But unfortunately, every time I was in that building, immediately my stomach would start to hurt. And I'm like, what is happening? This is very strange. And it happened twice. It
Yeah.
happened the first time we went to go see the space. And then it happened when we were recording. The entire time we were recording that, my stomach was killing me. And I was like, why
Yeah.
is this happening? What is happening? And like I don't get stomach aches. Like it's not like I'm like, like, I have a sensitive stomach. It was weird.
Yeah.
And it just made me uneasy. There was a lot of energy in that space, but there's a lot of artists in that space too. So I think that like with all of that art going on, it's right near artisan works.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's a lot of energy there, and may have been like messing with us a little,
Yeah.
especially with the nature of what our podcast is.
Yeah.
But that's just, a theory. We don't have any
No
proof of
proof.
it except for the fact that our video and our audio got
Yeah.
messed up.
And honestly, it's the first time really that it ever did that like that, and then it's not done that before, and it hasn't done it since. And I mean, the other good thing to know is that Ben records many podcasts in that very space, and there's
All
an
the time.
actual recording studio, a studio like two doors down,
Yeah.
and musicians record, and so it was just us. They didn't want us to do it,
Didn't like us.
or Nick's an
Yeah.
idiot and mess something up,
It
and you're
yeah,
like, it may have been that. You're like, you were
it
just about to
may have
say.
been that Nick's totally stupid, but
Yeah,
I
that's
just kidding.
and that
No,
and that concludes our show.
Yeah,
Jess is looking for
forever.
another co-host, and it's very simple. Just erase the Nick out of
If no, no, no.
the
If your
no.
name's no, if your
Yeah,
name is Nick, you can sign up to be the
even better.
co-host, and then I don't have to change anything.
Yes,
Just
yes.
replace the
Preferably
Nick with
have a
another Nick.
last initial of K as well, right?
Yeah, well, the guy will be like, my name's Chris. I'm like, it's Nick now. We changed your
Yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah. Right on. So
Yeah, no, you're still hired. It's fine. Uh, but that episode was special, not only because we were in person, but because I did a tarot reading for you.
yeah, it was my first tarot reading ever, and we had a really cool question that we asked, and all the fans are going to make it come true, right? So
Well, we'll see.
we'll see.
Yeah.
So now
But
it's my second tarot reading.
yeah, this will be your second one. But
Yeah.
you have a different question, and how it works is I ask you to just have that question on you. I don't, it has to be something that you're willing to share.
Mhm.
Just setting this up for our listeners. And because I need to know if I'm on the right track, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But also it gives validation um to both of us, right? Like should I be doing this, should I not? You know, that
Hmm.
sort of thing. But in all, in all of the readings that I've done for people, it's usually spot on. It's not
Hmm.
me, it's spirit. It comes through. We're asking your guides, we're asking your angels, whatever that is for you, as long as it is of the highest and best good for you and all, then I'm willing to work with it and say, yes or no.
Hmm.
Anything negative or lower level, no, thank you. But we say a prayer before we get started, and just ask for that kind of protection, and then we kind of go from there. Then I read.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds familiar.
It does. It does.
I guess,
um
I will just say real quick, because I kind of alluded to it. And since it's not the same question, basically we were asking, or I was asking, is this podcast going to be successful? And it sounded like it would be.
yeah, but I didn't know the question.
Yes. Yes. At the time
And
you did not.
right. But you were asking, and maybe if we can like salvage a piece of that, we can
Sure.
share it sometime.
Well, I
But
took photos of the whole card spread, and those came
mhm.
through, and there's some audio. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about, that tarot reading in particular, I'm sure that I can honor the listeners with a little audio tidbits of that.
Yeah,
So, but
perfect.
but
Wonderful.
cool.
I feel like I need to just also preface, I have a cold today.
Mhm.
So if you hear me sniffling or I just don't sound like myself, that is why. And I just keep swigging water because my ears are a little plugged. So aside from my AirPods, they're plugged in there.
Yeah, hang
um,
in there, Joss, and by the time you guys hear this, you would have already wished our co-host a happy birthday, which is happening on 2 days from now, right? Friday.
yeah, I'm turning
So,
25 and
oh
I'm
my
very
goodness.
excited.
Which, if we go back to the previous episode where I said I was 10 years younger than you, that makes me 15. So, little strange.
Yes, 25, big year.
Yep. Yep. Good year.
hmm Um, yeah, okay, cool. So, do you want to get started with a reading, or do you want to tell a little bit a story? And also, I want to tell, actually, before we start any of that,
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell a story about one of my tarot readings, one of my first ones that I had done for me. I went to see somebody,
Hmm.
and I want to just set that up um, because it's important. So
Hmm.
just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I went to see a tarot reader in downtown Rochester, and she had a good reputation. She had been doing this for a long time, but at the time, I don't think like I really realized like, and this was really like something that made me think like I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to do this too. I want to read
Hmm.
this. This encouraged me to do this. But I was curious about it. I like getting readings. I'm actually going to get one on my birthday on Friday. Um,
Very nice.
from someone else. Yeah. But um, it's always important to understand who your reader is asking these questions of. So, like I was saying earlier, I really only want to talk to those who are there for your highest and best, your spirit guides, your angels. My angels will talk to your angels. My spirit guides will talk to your spirit guides. If there's anything lower level there or not connected to the light, I don't walk in
Hmm.
that neighborhood. That's just
Yeah.
not where I'm going. Um, so it's important to know who your reader is asking these questions of. And I learned that on that day when I probably was actually 25. I think I was like 20. I think I was like 27.
So 2 years ago.
Yeah. Just not long ago. And I sat for that reading, and the woman told me that my husband was ready to have children and I wasn't, and I knew that was true. He was ready to have kids way before I was ready. And I she told me she was going through, and she said, "Oh, well, it looks like you'll have like 3 pregnancies." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It's not. And then she said, "But only one child." And I remember making the offhand comment of, well, none of them are going to be like, you know, late, right? Like it won't be like a late miscarriage, right? Like I could handle a miscarriage, but I don't want it to be like late in the game here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, unfortunately, yeah, it will be. Um, so that's terrifying, right? Like that's a very negative thing. And then she said, "Ooh, I don't know if I should have told you that."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in that moment, I was kind of like, no, I'm glad you did tell me that. But then like the fear set in, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Um, Spirit tells you things like you can, in a positive light. If you're only like working with angels and those who are there for your highest and best good, they're going to tell you things in a positive way. So I don't know who she was asking, which is why I'm like, that could have been like a lower level. It could have been negative. It could have been, an entity
Mm-hmm.
just trying to mess with me. Who knows? But I had a dream the night before that I wrote down in a dream journal, because I dream journal when I have like vivid dreams, which we talked about in one of the episodes
Mm-hmm.
prior. You remember yours, but I gotta write mine down. But when I remember them, I really remember. But I write them down anyways because I don't know if I'll remember it, right? If you don't know at the time. So I had written it down, and I was walking through a fair, like a carnival, and some fortune teller had stopped me in this dream and said, "You're going to have 3 children and you're going to name them." And she told me 3 names that I did not like. And I'm not going to say them here because they could be anybody's names,
We
And
don't
they're just
like
like
your
very,
name.
well, they're very like
Yeah.
generic, generic names. Like a
Nick
Jessica,
is one of them.
like me. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a Nick or a Jess,
Yeah.
like it was very like 80s
That's
tastic
why.
names. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm not naming my kids that. And she was like, nope, those are your kids' names. You're gonna have 3 kids, and it was 2 girls and a boy, and you are going to name them these. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna name them that. So I wake up, and then I go to that reading, and then she tells me I'm gonna have 3 pregnancies and 1 kid. And I sat there that night and I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like I'm going to have I wanted 2 kids. I'm gonna have
Mm-hmm.
2 kids, and I'm gonna make my own destiny here. Like, because, and here's the thing, the future is always fluid. You can always change this. And no psychic or medium or intuitive is ever 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And we have free will, and part of that free will is maybe you hear something that you don't like. Take it on and change it,
Mm-hmm.
say that's not mine. You can reject it. You don't have to take on that negative news. You can say that's not my story. And it may not work in all cases, because maybe, we could get all into it of like, maybe something is just something that you decided you wanted to go through
Yeah.
before you incarnated, whatever. But the point is that take tarot readings with a grain of salt, utilize them in a way that works for you, just like anything, right? And then you decide what your future is. You decide what your story is, because you are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving the vehicle. You're here for a reason. You make it happen. But it is nice to get good news and validation and say, yes, I'm on the right path. Yes, I'm doing the right things for me right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you
Yeah.
can use that and use tarot or readings to validate, that you're doing the right thing
Mm-hmm.
for you. So I like to share that story, especially when people are new to
Yeah.
this, and they don't understand, and they think it's evil or whatever. Oh, I don't want anybody to tell me I'm going to die. That's what I get all the time. I don't want to know when I'm going to die. I'm like, nobody has an expiration date on their foot. I don't know when you're going to die. And like, nobody should ever tell you, even if God dropped that into my head, I would never tell somebody when they were going to die. But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like, just like you don't get the lotto numbers. That's not how it works. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I wish I got the lotto numbers, but
yeah. I mean, well, so, earlier before we were, talking on air, I was saying I'll probably share something as well. So like I said, I have never had a reading, like a card reading, psychic reading, anything really like that, but I have experienced one. So there's a little town, and I know you're aware of this, but called like Lilydale, right? Where all the intuitives like, live and practice their craft, and I have never been there. And but when I went to college, we would have, different, events and things like that. And one of the times that one of my RAs actually brought in, a psychic from Lilydale to kind of talk up, Lilydale, and then also do some readings and stuff. And the way that it was set up was I was there because I had to, I had to be there. You had to go to a certain number of programs or something. I don't remember, but I know I wasn't there because I wanted to be there, because I was like, I was kind of like the same way as you growing up, like in that family where, this is the devil, you can't do, and my parents weren't big on that, but other people that influenced in my lives were big on that. Like, you don't do that. So anyways, I'm there. I'm not participating. However, this woman creeped me out to begin with. She was like, I don't know, have you ever have you ever read the book Thinner by Stephen King or seen the movie?
I know the concept of it,
So
that
there,
he keeps,
yeah, he keeps getting thinner, but he was like cursed by this gypsy woman. Like, the woman looked nothing like that woman, but she just creeped me out like that woman in the movie. So take a look at the movie. It's actually a pretty decent movie. Book's better. But the woman that played there is like this old hag looking woman. Anyway, she wasn't looking like that, but she gave me that creepy feel.
Fair.
So I'm in the back of the room. She's calling things out because the way that she sort of did it was that, like, group of people, and she'd be like, is there someone with, like, a relative with a D in the name, that kind of thing, where like you're pulling things out of the air. And she said something that directly connected with me. It was obvious, at least to me, that it was about me. And all she said was, whatever you're thinking right now, don't do it. And so what I was thinking about was like, oh, maybe I should visit Lilydale and take a look and all this stuff. And like the other part of it, she's like, it will be a disaster. It'll be everything you fear and more. And she's like, I don't know who I'm talking to this about, but you've been warned. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm definitely never going to Lilydale. I'm not checking that place out. And it's one of those things that kind of creeped me out to this day, because I really didn't even acknowledge that it was about me. But it was very, I don't even remember exactly what she said, but it was like very obvious that it was me, that, to me anyway. So
Yeah.
that's why I have not gone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder why that would be. I mean, it's a very peaceful place. I've been
Yeah.
there twice, maybe
I've
three
heard good
times.
things. I've heard very good
Yeah.
things from people and stuff, but
It's quiet.
yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like, what you're fearing to discover, or whatever you will discover, or something. So I don't know what that meant, but it's scary enough to me. We're like, you know what? Don't need to check that place out.
You know what I forgot to mention in my story at the end there,
Yeah.
to let listeners who don't know me know, is that I ended up having uh I did have three pregnancies. I have two children. So, and the miscarriage that I did have was earlier, like 10 weeks. So it wasn't as, I mean, it gave me PTSD for other reasons, because I almost
Sure.
died from it. But because I I don't know, I'm not going to go into detail, but I almost
Yeah.
died from that. Um
I'm sorry that you had to go
but
through that.
it's, like it to me, I was like, it happens, like,
Yeah.
this is fine. But then when I was pregnant with my daughter after that, because that was my second pregnancy. So when I was pregnant with my daughter after that, obviously I'm sitting there terrified the entire
Sure.
time.
Sure.
Scared. But and my daughter was born not breathing. But they got her breathing within the first minute, obviously, and she's healthy and happy and everything's great. She's 2.
Yeah.
But I did want to just, the full circle of my story essentially was, I have 2 healthy kids. I have a boy and a girl. I named them what I wanted. and, and that wasn't my, even though it came out in the cards, it wasn't my reality. I
Yeah.
chose something different.
Yeah. Yeah. And the name, none of them are named Nick either. So I've noticed.
No.
So yeah.
No, I did not name either of my children. Yeah. No.
Didn't see that one coming. All right.
Yeah.
Well, again, sorry you had to go through with that experience, but that's tough.
No, I'm blessed with 2 happy, healthy children. I'm good. But
Yeah.
I was glad and happy that, like, I chose a different path. I said no, and I like to use that as an example. So people understand, that this isn't the end all be all. And if anybody ever says that it is, run away.
Yeah.
Run away.
Or don't go to Lilydale.
Or don't go to Lilydale. I love Lilydale. It's
well, maybe
so
I'll
nice.
check it out now, but
well, now you can't.
Yeah. I don't know. So
no, it is really nice. You should check it out. Maybe we'll check it out together next summer. It's only open in the summer.
Wow. Yeah, it's true. Forgot about that part.
Ashley and I were going to go this summer, and then it totally just fell off the radar because we were both so busy.
We should start an Ashley count.
Yeah, how many times? Every time we say Ashley, take a shot.
Every time. We'll not get another episode out.
Poor Ashley. She's she's
got to come on the show.
Listening. Well, she's listening to this going like, what the hell?
Every time. Stop. This is my private life. You keep on bringing in. We'll have to have her on the show just so you guys can hear about. Yeah. So, but I guess we can get back into the meat of the show, and I'm ready for my second reading, and we can kind of do that, and we'll let Ashley know how it goes.
She's about to find out.
Yeah.
She's listening. Oh my God! What if she doesn't listen? If she doesn't listen to the show, ooh. Jess was listening to it yesterday.
She has some explaining to do. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna what I personally do is I call in Archangel Michael. I ask for white light around us and this reading. I'm really only asking my guides and my angels to talk to your guides and your angels. When we're doing these readings, it's just asking, like I said, for guidance. We will try to answer your question, and it usually does, unless there's something more pressing that you need to hear. I'm not asking for anything like private information, but sometimes something will come through that needs to be said.
Another warning, don't give out your social security number to tarot readers, right?
Don't do that. Don't give out your social security number to anyone at all, unless they are an official credential reader. My friend just had her identity stolen, so not from that. Her debit card was stolen, and then her identity got stolen, so big problems.
Yeah, that's no fun.
So now I feel pretty good, but I'm just going to kind of focus on you real quick and just give me a little minute, okay? I'm going to do a Celtic cross because it kind of gives a more complete picture than if I were to just pull 3 cards.
Okay.
So we'll see how this works. I'm using a new deck, actually. So far this has been my no BS deck. It really just kind of cuts to the chase. So we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so our first card is 10 of Swords. There we go. Yeah, 10 of Swords. The 10 of Swords is really about the ending of something. Something has ended. And this is the querent. This is you. a situation that you're asking about. It is over. It's done. And there's always in an ending a new beginning. There's always a silver lining in the original, and not the original tarot, but in the Rider Waite Smith deck, which should be the Smith Rider Waite deck, because Smith did all the pictures, illustrated them all. In that deck, there is a man with 10 swords in his back, but he's making the sign of benediction, meaning that this is a blessing. It's a blessing. There's always blessings when the endings start. Okay. The next is going to be crossed by the 6 of Wands, and you see this woman. She's got like the limelight on her, and there's lots of hands raised here. Like everybody's excited. She's like a star, right? And in the other deck, and the original, not the original tarot. I don't know why I keep saying original, but in the tarot deck that many of us learn on, the Rider Waite deck, it's a man coming. He's successful. He's being lauded as, it's almost like he's back from war and he won, right? It's victory. This is a card of victory. So this ending is being crossed with victory. Like something ended so that you could be victorious in something else. That's the crossed card. Underneath it all, the subconscious is temperance. And temperance is about, it's a lot to do with water and consciousness, right? Because water is like the subconscious flow. It's always flowing, right? But temperance is about patience to me. It's always about kind of waiting for good news. Waiting for good news. Okay, so we're going to put that underneath. Recent past is the 10 of Pentacles, which is a really great card for lots of really good money. So you may have recently come into a windfall. You may have had like more money. 10 of Pentacles is like a really happy card. So we're just coming from that. That's like a card of, we just did something successfully that, we had enough money to do something, essentially. Okay. Knight of Wands is our conscious card. It sits above. And the Knight of Wands, it's very fiery. It's fast moving. The Knights are messengers. And the message is always, it's pretty good. It's quick moving, passion, fire. Wands are about career, or in terms of love, sometimes it's about that passion. For this one, it's I feel like more career focused. I'm gonna keep flipping through a little bit. I'm gonna shuffle these a little. I feel like I need to shuffle. 3 of Pentacles is our near future. 3 of Pentacles is about working together and admiration. Like you might be working with somebody that you really admire, you really like. It's about the joy of working too, like your craft, enjoying what you do, essentially. Next, we have the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles, I wish I could, there we go. She is the woman. To me, this card always means the woman alone, but it is, she's rich, she's vibrant, she has everything she could ever need. She is well taken care of. And pentacles are about the earth, their coins, their money. She's well provided for. And that went into our how you feel about yourself position. We're in the cane now.
Okay.
Next is the Four of Swords. Next, 4 of Swords. And this is going into the environment of the situation. And so the 4 of Swords is really about rest. It's about taking a moment to pause and reflect and meditate and understand what it is that you are asking the universe for. What are you asking? It's that calm. It's that sometimes the calm before the storm sort of thing. This is the environment right now. Before something takes off, before something starts, before you start a new project or a new job or a new something. It's that, but it's you taking the time to reflect within yourself. And it's very important that you do that so that when things do start taking off, you're grounded. You're well grounded. But swords are about communication. They're about it's air. So communication and movement, air. They're also the cards of like war and strife, but I don't feel like that's what's happening here. It's just like what kind of family they're in. But yeah, that's environment here. The moon has come out for hopes and fears. Hopes and fears, there's a thin line between your hopes and your fears, because what you hope for, you also fear might not happen, right? Or vice versa. So, or what might happen. The moon is a major arcana card, and it really focuses on duality. There's like, even in this one, there's a white wolf and a black wolf howling at the moon. Howling at the moon. Howling. And there's a woman, she's underwater, but she's staring up at the moon. The moon is about things like you can't see yourself. Sometimes you're not seeing the whole picture. It's dark out, right? And the moon only lights us up so much, right? It provides light, but sometimes not enough to see everything, right? You can really only see so far. So this goes into the hopes and fears. And what I think it's saying in this is basically, let me get a good feel for this. This is a major arcana. Where's the moon? Whatever you're about to do next, step lightly, essentially. Like just make sure that where you're stepping is solid ground, right? Because sometimes you just can't see everything, even in the moonlight, even if it's a full moon, you can't see everything. And then our final card is sometimes people say this is the final outcome and not just the near future. Sometimes it registers as like the energy of the entire reading. And so it's like the overarching theme. I usually like to pull an overarching theme card, but I did not bring an oracle card today. So we'll just see what this one comes out as. Nope. This one. It's a Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is all about decision making. And sometimes your brain is like, with Seven of Cups, he has so many, I don't want to like, he has so many decisions to make. Look at all of those options, right?
Lots of cups there.
Lots of options. Yeah. And they're all filled with like different things, and some are great and some are not so great. And it's just a matter of what is he going to choose? And in this one, he doesn't know what's in each of these. Yeah, so he's just trying to make a decision. But essentially it's a card of decision making. It's a card of, you will have lots of options, you have a lot of dreams, but knowing which one to choose is going to be difficult. And I'm gonna just ask for, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask, what should I be doing? What should I be thinking about? What's going to make me the most happy? What makes the most sense in this moment? And if you choose one that you deem to be the wrong one, or the not so great one, you can always back out and choose a different one, and that's okay too. But overall, this reading, I think that's the overarching theme. I don't think that and it could be the overall future too, that you're going to have a lot of options. But overall, this reading is telling me that like something has ended, but it's a good thing, because what the next thing is going to be successful, right? And you're coming from a place of wealth and abundance and happiness and um, completed projects, and you're moving towards that too, because you have the near future card was the one, it's the Three of Pentacles, which is loving what you do, admiring other people's work and having them admire yours, working together in harmony. um and that's, you know, very, very good too. So you have, let me see, you have a lot of pentacles and you have a lot of wands. You only have one cups, which cups are
Mhm.
emotional. So your decision will be like an emotion. It'll be an emotional one. Something from your gut, right? It won't be like it's not going to be just your thoughts. It's going to be an emotional decision. Um, and we have swords, we have rest. Like really take that time, especially with temperance here with the swords. You're going to want to take your time to make that decision, and the moon telling you to watch your step. Make sure that you're really taking in as much as you can, get more information. So that way you're allowed to, not allowed, but you're allowing yourself to um, feel comfortable in the next move here. So, I mean, my guess is your question is not one really about family. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not about family, no.
Yeah. And so it seems like it's more of a I mean, we have a lot of pentacles, but we have a lot of wands. It's more about like, it's more about your passions. It's more about like, what do I do next, sort of thing. Like um,
Mhm.
how is this, how am I going to make this decision? Sort of thing. Is that like, what is your question? We
Uh,
can say it now.
sure. Should I go to Lilydale? No. It
Yeah.
it actually has to do a lot with the decision that I was trying to make that I sort of already made, but there's still time to sort of unmake it or figure out what I want to do. And so the question was like, do I proceed with going forward with my EDD program?
Mm.
So, because there are a lot of things on my plate and I do need to end them, and kind of going back to sort of our original reading, even that was part of that I had a lot of things up in the air that I
Mhm.
need to deal with. So
Yeah.
I have an appointment actually, which will be in the past once this episode comes out, but uh where I'm being sort of interviewed for the program and deciding on whether or not it's the right fit for them, and if it's the right fit for me, kind of a thing, even though I've already taken a
Mm.
couple classes. So that was like the main question that kind of came up. Is this like really, it's something I've always wanted to do, but is this the right time, that kind of thing. So
Did something recently end to allow you to do this, or to like,
something I haven't, I've made a decision in my mind to end something, but I haven't done it yet.
okay, so that's what this was. But this is saying it's already ended. Like it's already done.
I mean, if you look at it from the perspective of this decision's been made to end it, it's
Yeah.
just there are things that I've set that in motion in my own
Hmm.
brain and in my own life, but I have not
Yeah.
informed the parties involved, if
Yeah,
that
no,
makes
that's fine.
sense.
You don't need to disclose it. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like, this says you made up your mind. This is done. You're
yeah,
done with it. Yeah. And
yeah.
you'll be successful in it. So, you know, it's crossed with, will I be successful? Well, um, you it kind of, it goes right back to what I was saying earlier about like, it's up to you. You make the decision.
Mhm.
You know, and it could be an emotional one. Um,
Mine are
Although
usually
it's,
emotional.
yeah. Well, but
Go
this
from the
isn't an
gut.
emotional. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's not an emotional reading. So
Mhm.
it'll be an emotional decision, but it's not an emotional. It won't affect your emotions. Most likely, it won't. It won't hit you
Yeah.
there, right?
Well,
Familial.
what I mean is a lot of my decisions are from the gut. Like,
Mhm.
I just have that intuitive approach to everything I do. So,
For sure.
I mean, obviously I don't blindly go into situations, make decisions without any data or
You
backing,
don't?
backing. Not, no, ever. But I
Why
meant
not?
like, nah, I
Mhm.
don't know. Can't answer that question. I need another reading. No,
Yeah.
I think that there was a lot of things that were resonating as you were talking, and I was saying, yep, that's kind of what's going on. And so once again, and for the first time for our listeners, but the second time for me,
Yeah.
things were connecting, while you were talking. So
Good. So I pulled another card just to kind of clarify, and this is the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is like a make a wish. It's gonna come true sort of thing. So make a wish,
mhm.
make a decision, and you're gonna be happy with whatever it is that you decide.
So that's the lotto card.
Multiple ways to win.
This is
Good
your
luck,
lotto
everyone.
card. So you're gonna take these numbers and you're gonna take them down to
Yeah, I heard a 7, a 9, which are kind of strange numbers to put in because, like,
and a
once again,
3,
yeah,
yeah,
3, 7, 9,
9, 9,
and
yeah.
what is the Powerball, Jess? What is the Powerball?
Gonna be
The
7.
Powerball is the moon, the temperance, and moon,
So,
temperance,
well, no,
pentacles.
thank you, Jess. I appreciate this, and it's
Yeah.
good to kind of learn a little bit more and hear more. Yeah, for me for the second time, and for our listeners maybe for the first time that have not learned anything about this, go and maybe have a reading.
It's always cool to like see how they shake out. I love how spirit comes through and it's just like, it's usually a reflection of what's happening. It's just a
Mhm.
reflection. And then every once in a while I'll get like a little tidbit from spirit that'll be like, think about this, think about
Mhm.
that. What do you think? But again, ultimately you have free will. The decision is yours.
Mhm. Well, that's good to know. This is called the Ghost of La Parva ski resort. Throughout Latin America, you'll hear variations of the story of La Llorona, or the Wailing Woman. Sometimes she lost her husband, sometimes she's lost her children, sometimes it's both. But in La Parva, a ski spot in the Chilean Andes, the Wailing Woman is known as Lola, and everyone in the area swears they knew her before she died. A local restaurant owner said he dated her. Pro skier Drew Tacky says, adding that the ski patrol has heard the story, pointed out an exact hut where the tale takes place. The story starts on a nice day in the peak ski season. Lola and a young son plan to spend the day on the slopes. As can happen in the Andes, a thick fog rose up from the valley, which often precedes the arrival of a storm. The clouds enveloped the two as they were making their way down the top of the mountain, and they lost contact with one another. Desperate to find her son, Lola began screaming his name, and as she ran through the thick fog. Unable to see clearly, though, she stumbled down a steep slope and began sliding down a rocky corridor. By chance, a local lift operator who was returning from his cabin came across her body, and he was afraid she was already dead. But on closer inspection, he found she was still alive, but just barely. Her body was covered with lacerations from the sharp rocks, and the only word she said in the faintest whisper was her son's name. The lift operator worked carefully to pull her body to his cabin, which was just up the hill. He bandaged her cuts up as best as she could and ran to fetch a doctor. Together, the doctor and the lift operator made back to the hut, the fog hanging thickly in the air. When they arrived, though, the bed was empty. Just bloody sheets remained. Neither the woman nor her son were ever found.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, sad story.
I have heard of La Llorona.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's been a lot of like cases of this.
Yes. Yeah.
Where she's the wailing woman and she
Yeah. And later
knocks
on in
on
the
doors and
right
looks for children and yeah.
Later on in the story, there's a couple times where the storyteller Drew says, like, still in the wind he feels like he hears her wailing, which to
Yeah.
me would be super creepy, scary, terrifying.
Yeah.
To always think
Yeah.
you're hearing that noise, right?
So now, Nick, we're going to just do like a collective reading for everybody listening. The
Great.
collective reading can register in like any way, shape, or form, but I will pull some cards and see what we have going on. Just 3 cards for the time. If you're listening to this, in 2027, it'll still ring true for you at this time. It's basically a collective reading for whenever this reaches you. Okay. A collective reading for everyone, for humanity. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. This is Seven of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
The Seven of Swords is about, well, to me, it's a card of watching out to make sure that you're hanging out with the right people. It is a card of deception. It can be a card of betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like putting that out there and putting that in people's heads. But it is a card about birds of a feather flock together. And so if you're not hanging out with the right people, or you're feeling a little iffy about certain people, or maybe somebody new just came into your life and you're like, I don't know about that person, they give me the heebie-jeebies, or they're making me feel a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would maybe give yourself some space. Just a little glance at that. Just give yourself some space. The next card is the King of Pentacles. The Kings are all about taking charge and moving forward. The King of Pentacles are, again, earthly coins, money, possessions. And there's a wolf by his side, and he's just kind of happy looking at his like bright shiny coin here. I'm getting the feeling of like this is somebody who is like, ooh, shiny, like, ooh, squirrel.
It's
Even
me.
though that's not what the King of Pentacles is actually about, but for some reason, like, I don't know, they're calling my attention to like, this is ooh, shiny. So the King of Pentacles is about it is a man in control, or a woman in control of finances. They have their stuff together. We're looking for this person. We want to emulate that. But here, again, I'm kind of getting like, you might be trying to do that, but like your attention's getting directed in other things. So maybe like if your finances aren't where they want to be, and like you're on Amazon, you're like, ooh, I like that, and I'm gonna buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just kind of like take heed of that, like give it a little more thought before pushing the button and saying order now. I think that that's kind of, not everything is as it seems, right? And then for this one, wow, what is with these cards? This is the devil. This is the devil card. It is
Devil.
not, it is not scary, like, oh, the devil, Satan. No, no. It is not scary. It is just about decisions. And you are not beholden to anyone or anything. You make your own decisions. And so the devil card comes out when you need to make a choice
Mm-hmm.
for the good of yourself. And if you're sitting there going like, I'm not able to make that choice, or I don't have that kind of willpower or whatever, you do. Yes, you do. Just make the decision. Because you're not beholden to anyone. You have your own power, you have your own independence, you have your own thoughts. And it's important to really acknowledge that. I don't want to end on that, so I will just pull out another card really quick, and it is the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is about stability. It can be partnership. It can be celebrations. It's about like, sometimes it's the marriage card. And so it's a card of saying like, see these women are celebrating here,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a carnival in the background, and maybe a circus or something. There's like a circus tent. um it is about, if that's what you're seeking, if you're seeking more stability, taking charge of yourself, taking charge of your finances, making sure that you're hanging out with the right people, um making sure that you're not easily distracted, then those are the things that are going to help you through whatever it is that you're going through at this moment, or in the future. But yeah, that is a collective reading that I will end on.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening and for, chiming in. I'd love to hear a little bit about how that collective reading actually reached you. So check out the show notes, send us your stories. We had a guest on last week. We'd love to have another guest on. So
100%, yeah.
yeah, so let's hear your stories and let's connect. So until the next terrifying moment, right?
Yeah. Till next time. Thanks for listening.